If you've been watching this channel for some time, you know that I believe understanding the science behind stocks is important. Telling the difference between disruptors and the organizations being disrupted can give you a major advantage as an investor. And, as I would see it, no one does a better job at covering big technology breakthroughs and the large investing opportunities that accompany them than ARK Invest. A couple of days ago, ARK Invest presented their Big Ideas report for 2023. And as usual, artificial intelligence sits at the center of all that they cover. So how about we rapidly go over the huge market opportunities that are being opened by artificial intelligence, and then I'll jump into some of the organizations that are in the best situation to capture it. Welcome to Bulls and Bears. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Now let's go back to the video. The reason that artificial intelligence is consistently at the center of ARK Invest research is a result of something many refer to as the convergence. The convergence is this idea that advanced technologies are increasingly overlapping. AI is the main catalyst, and its speed affects all other technologies. Consider it along these lines. As AI gets faster and less expensive, it becomes faster and less expensive to program robots, sequence the human genome, enhance battery designs, and train a vehicle to drive itself. However, there are also feedback loops here. Self-driving AI improves as vehicles gather more information, and breakthroughs in these systems can advance into different fields, like training robots to plan their routes and do their jobs more effectively. Now think about this. Banks are utilizing artificial intelligence to price risks and set interest rates for loans. Pharmaceutical organizations are utilizing AI to discover medications, and robotics organizations are utilizing artificial intelligence to improve production lines and be more friendly to people, while media organizations are utilizing it to suggest music and movies, etc. But since these are all utilizations of artificial intelligence, a breakthrough in any of these areas can meaningfully affect them all, and the most recent breakthrough in AI is the widespread adoption of generative AI. Prompted by a short text, generative artificial intelligence models can create pictures, code, text, sound, and video. In under 1 year, many generative artificial intelligence projects have made models that progress from grainy pictures to top-notch 3D models and videos. This will disrupt the specific fields that we figured artificial intelligence could never disrupt, the creative arts. Something that would require 5 hours for a human to do should now be possible in less than a minute for nearly 2,000 times cheaper. Think about how that will disrupt practically every industry, from advertising to product design. But this isn't just about creating art. For example, imagine a scenario where you could naturally redo the dialogue and mouth movements of any video clip to make it accessible in numerous languages at different maturity ratings. All of a sudden, television and movie industries can make something beyond sequels and spin-offs. They'll have the option to take genuinely creative risks because artificial intelligence will be able to assist each project to create greater returns from bigger audiences. Or what about a committed coding assistant? There's something more to writing code than just writing code. Coding assistants like Copilot can set up directories, repositories, and environments, write documentation, define functions and interfaces, and translate between coding languages, among others. AI coding assistants are already slicing programming time in half for software engineers right now. By 2030, they could increase the output of software engineers by 10 times as much. So artificial intelligence probably won't take your job in the future, but someone who knows how to utilize artificial intelligence certainly will. Speaking of which, we should discuss ChatGPT, because that is something everyone can utilize at this moment. Only a few weeks ago, OpenAI released ChatGPT to the public. ChatGPT utilizes natural language processing to analyze a user's question and produce an exceptionally relevant response in only a few seconds. No endless pages of search results, and, obviously, no advertisements. Today, it costs around 1 cent for each question to run ChatGPT, which means it can't compete with Google search regarding scale. But by 2030, the expenses should be low enough that ChatGPT-style applications can be sent at a similar scale as things like Google and Wikipedia. Forget writing essays or passing the SATs. we should discuss the sorts of things that ChatGPT can accomplish for investors and entrepreneurs that a Google search basically can't. This happens when you ask ChatGPT for business ideas. In a test run, I wrote the following prompt to ChatGPT. Create a list of 3 startup ideas for enterprise B2B SaaS companies that have a compelling mission and use AI in some way. Let's avoid cryptocurrencies or the blockchain. Come up with cool and interesting names and ideas that are compelling enough that investors would be excited to invest millions of dollars. What you get from that is a list of 3 intriguing business ideas that you can continue to fully explore with ChatGPT. But you don't have to explore them alone. You can request that ChatGPT impersonate well-known business visionaries and answer your questions as though it was Elon Musk, Einstein, or Tesla, or all 3 of them put together. Then, ask it how to grow the business that it generated for you. And that is only ChatGPT. What about combining it with OpenAI's other tools, like making a business site, email campaign, or a bunch of advertisements where ChatGPT produces the text and DALL-E 2 creates the imagery? In only a couple of hours, OpenAI's tools took us from a blank page to a business idea that is sufficient to make choices with. With tools like these, it's no big surprise that Microsoft put more than $10 billion into OpenAI to have a 49% stake in the organization. However, OpenAI is still a privately owned business, so you can't just go out and purchase their shares on the stock market. At the start of this episode, I said that being able to tell the difference between disruptors and the organizations being disrupted can give you a major advantage. As an investor, ChatGPT's productive answers versus Google's search results are only one example. However, Google has essentially limitless resources and they record the entire internet constantly, so can't they just produce their version of ChatGPT? Well, consider this. Artificial intelligence software and hardware costs are declining at an incredible 70% each year, which means that cash won't generally be a significant bottleneck for building these sorts of tools later on. Even small private companies will be able to afford the software and hardware needed to construct these sorts of tools before this decade's over. As indicated by ARK Invest's estimates, by 2030, it could cost just $30 to train GPT-3, which is the model behind ChatGPT. That means that even people would be able to construct these sorts of tools, not just small companies. That means that winning artificial intelligence organizations of the future won't be the ones with the best system or the most cash. They'll be the ones with unique information that allows them to train these AI models in ways that their competitors can't. What OpenAI is doing by releasing its tools to the general population is developing its data advantage. Individuals are utilizing ChatGPT, DALL-E, and Codex in totally unexpected ways in comparison to how they use Google services, and OpenAI is catching that proprietary information. That information allows them to build and train better interfaces, queries, and AI models than their competitors, which should give their products and services an edge on the market, which would then give them more customers. Then, those customers would generate more information which the organization would then use to build and train better AI models. Thus, the cycle continues. That is a reason most markets with AI-based services turn out to be winners take most. And as indicated by Allied Research, the world AI market is projected to reach around $1.6 trillion toward the end of 2030. That is a trillion with a T, and that is a market worth recognizing winners in. However, OpenAI isn't the only winner co-founded by Elon Musk. Another AI organization with lots of information that no other person has is Tesla. That is one of the primary reasons why it is ARK Invest's greatest holding today. Tesla has around 4 million vehicles on the road, furnished with the cameras and sensors required for full self-driving. That is billions of miles driven, a huge number of which are driven in autopilot or full self-driving beta. All that information, the frames and the labels from each camera, the readings from all the in-car sensors, and each human input and disengagement, they generally return to Tesla to assist with training their self-driving AI. That means that each time a Tesla owner goes for a drive, they're expanding Tesla's data advantage. And because they have countless vehicles already gathering information, Tesla can rapidly find the recording where something very specific is going on, see every one of how the driver wound up intervening, and then utilize that information to retrain their self-driving AI to deal with every particular case better and better. That is not something any of Tesla's competitors can truly do at this moment. Furthermore, Tesla has plenty of ways to utilize all that unique information beyond self-driving itself. Tesla's Dojo program could offer AI training as a cloud service to other automakers, or they could utilize that information to modify insurance prices for each Tesla owner based on how safe they drive and what the cameras are seeing. Or they can utilize that information to further develop their photorealistic simulator by including more realistic pedestrian movements and traffic patterns in various climate and lighting conditions. In this way, Tesla is an ideal example of the power and flexibility that comes with having information that no other person does. One more ideal example of this is Amazon, because every one of the information they gather is unique to their ecosystem. Amazon.com furnishes them with a one-of-a-kind shopping and behavior information, including how individuals look at comparable items and which highlights turn out to be the most critical to making a sale. For example, comment below if you'd purchase an item that makes you pay for shipping, or if you're someone that returns to track down the one that ships for free with Amazon Prime. Or what about Amazon's Alexa devices? Individuals can utilize Alexa for everything, from looking through the web, setting appointments, and sending emails, all the way to playing movies, ordering food, and controlling other smart home devices. Think about each of the unique information that this gives Amazon. For instance, if you generally order from the same restaurants when you line up a film, Alexa is in a unique situation to recommend your favorite orders to you. Or Amazon could do the opposite, where it gathers users by their way of life and purchase habits, and then it makes suggestions for items and media based on what other similar individuals to you enjoy. Suggesting things based on what similar individuals enjoy is called collaborative filtering, which is one way that organizations like Netflix and Spotify already suggest content today. However, thanks to Alexa, Amazon could utilize different information to make more personalized suggestions and begin owning a greater amount of each market they can do this in. If they rolled something to that effect under Amazon Prime, it would truly destroy every other subscription service. So what do you think? Do you think these AI stocks would be worth investing? Which AI stocks would you put your stocks in if you had the cash to do so? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button, click on the notification bell to be updated on our new videos, and don't forget to give us a like if you want more content similar to this one. See you in our next video!